All right, hello, do say hi in the chat. Just getting set up here. One moment. Nearly there. Change there. All right, here we got high troll, cranking it up. How's it sounding? All right. High School by Nirvana. No covers, mate, but good to have you on here. YRS, hi. All right. So I've got face tracking on, which I don't know how you find it. Quite enjoying that. I've only got a tiny screen to monitor myself, so hopefully that'll work out all right. So yeah. So I don't do, for those of you who come on here asking covers, I don't do covers. I don't want the copyright strike. I appreciate, you want to hear songs that you're familiar with. But as Jenna has kindly said there, I am an artist and I'm interested in original music. I'm interested in what could be, which is why I come on here and, at the minute it's a chill and chat. I'm playing over backing tracks. I'm improvising. So anything could happen. And I'm a shredder. There you go. Alvin said it. Hi, Alvin. How you doing? Hi, Jenna. Hi, Ernesto. How you going? Elisaz, damn, what did I stumble into? Hi from New Zealand. I dig this. Great. Glad you're here. Do subscribe. Get the notifications. Please, give me some likes, which would be great. But I'm always wanting the likes. I'm always wanting the subscriptions because there's lots of stuff happening on here. So, cool. Hi. Right. So no covers, Ernesto. Let's do some more music. So, what have I been playing? Let's have a look. Maybe this. back. All right. What do you reckon of the camera angles there? All right. Okay, let's have a look. Kurt Cobain has... Yes, he has, unfortunately. Right, it's Friday night, isn't it? So here in the UK, it's the bank holiday weekend. So I'm hitting the booze. I've got 0 alcohol Peroni. What do you reckon? I'm going to start drinking this. See what happens. See how coherent I am by the end of the show. So do subscribe, please, everybody. So, Green Tools, good to have you on here, man. Oh, real musician, finally. Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Great phrasing. Looks like an Ibanez. So, everybody, I play Kiesel guitars. Kiesel guitars are absolutely amazing. Absolute value for money. I am an endorsed artist by them. I used to play Ibanez, but I absolutely love Kiesel. Hi, Ryan. How are you doing? Thanks for the email. Now, I was going to get back to you today, but I just got really busy. It's great. I loved what you wrote, and I'm so pleased that you're doing great on your guitar. And I loved watching what you were doing. Brilliant. So Ryan's a bit of a streamer as well, and you can check him out. It's Ice King on Ice King, and he's on, what do you call it again? Twitch. There you go. So Ryan Crowley, Ice King, check him out. Green Tools, sweet sounds, so good, mate. Thank you. Kurt Cobain has died. Yes. Backing track. Yes. Oh my God, let's go. Great guitar. Will Swan has one. All right, who's that? Wood bitch. Sean Winder. Tim will be at McRocklin and Hutch stream this weekend. No, not that I know of. It'll be next weekend because we did one last week, didn't we? That's right, isn't it, Sean? Having said that, I'm so into my streaming. I'd love it if there was one. I'd be straight round. Green Tools, bro. Don't ask this kind of player for Metallica. Ask for Steve Vai and above. Thank you. Hey, it's great having all this chat. Does not this 0 doesn't have any alcohol? Some of it does, though. Some of it's like 0.05. Yeah. So Francisco, I want to learn English. I come from England. That is right. I'm based in the UK, the United Kingdom, in the northeast of England. Ice King of Space on Twitch. There you go. So, all right, this is good because Ryan, Ice King, he was on my coaching program and took guitar lessons as well, and he did very well on it. You switched to red wine from beer, fair enough. Stairway to Heaven, no covers, I'm afraid. But I will play. I'll tell you what, I better play some McRocklin and Hutch, shouldn't I, really? Now, I haven't dragged anything out, so let's see what we got. We'll have something, I'm sure. All right, let's do No Sleep. So this is my favourite track at the minute. So this is one of the tracks from my band. Here we go. Yeah, rocks, doesn't it? We'll do another one. What about...
I'm doing no more. I'm doing no more.
Right, there you go. So there's a couple of McRocklin and Hutch tracks. Hope you enjoyed them. I must admit, the other guitarist, Thomas, is a much better player than me. And he did the majority of the guitar on all of our tracks. So you got to check him out. However, I did produce them. At the time, actually, with my band, McRocklin Hutch, I was actually more interested in messing about with synths and producing tracks than I was actually playing guitar. So, yeah, Ben is my name. Hi, Ben, how are you doing? Hello to everybody who's coming on here. It's a very, very busy chat. I'm kind of scrolling back here. Lots of like people saying I look like Kurt Cobain. I'm not, entirely convinced that's absolutely the case. Maybe close, but there you go. Lots of people asking for covers. My answer is no covers, but just embrace things that are original. Enjoy watching live music unfolding in front of your eyes and ears. Yeah, that's the way forward, I'm afraid. Have a true gift. Thanks, Ben. So badass. That's Green Tools. I like it. Tony London sounds great. That's cool because there's no direct audio. I'm just literally using the audio on the camera. So there's actually, I'm using one of those DJI gimbal cameras, and it's really cool because you see there, if I come over here, hey, you can see the push and my green wall. So that's the green wall, or what I like to call the secret garden off my other stream. And then I've got this is a real wall, by the way, it's not fake. Everything's real. I like real, especially after the Giacomo scandal. Like everything has to exist. I have to be able to pick it up in my hands. Oh, good. Right, you're listening to this while running through the jungle with a Gatling gun. Brilliant. You must be very fit, carrying all the ammo and the gun. Smells like an amazing guitarist. I like it. Thanks, Ben. Johnny Melancholy, sweet solo duo. Lots of love. Hundreds. Thank you. Well, it's just brilliant having everybody on here and like a busy chat. It's absolutely fabulous. I'm loving all the love. It's excellent. Fantastic. So any questions anybody wants to ask me, feel free, because, it does say chill and chat. So we can chat. It was a joke. No offense taken. It's all good. Is it actual plants? No, it's plastic. Actually, having plants in here wouldn't be a good idea because I think there'll be too much moisture in the air and I'll probably end up with some sort of disease on my lungs. I didn't check out, right, I need to check the Brandon Ellis technique we commented on your last live. The economy picking is similar to what he does when that he plays face melting metal. Okay, cool. Yes. So, yeah, so the plant wall, this green wall, it's plastic and you buy it for about, it's like $100 for a meter or something like that. And I got a fair few meters of it. I think it came to about $800 in total to have my wall done. But worth it, as you can see. So I love the tracking, especially on the hands. But yeah, so do subscribe, and it's all good. So I'm literally just randomly kind of hitting on tracks here. What's the track I like playing at the minute? Oh, this is epic, this one. Got to do this one. You speak plants, yeah. Thanks, Gabby. Hi David, hi. Freakstar, what is the backing track? The backing track's called Sleep Token Inspired Emotional Melodic Progressive Gent Metal. And it's by backing tracks by Tim. Oh, yes. I love jamming on that. Can I play Highway Star solo? No. No covers, I'm afraid. Just ended the live stream. My ears are blessed. Thank you, Sapphire. Next, can you play Highway solo? No, I can't. The thing is, I don't play covers on this channel because I don't want the copyright strike. I'm all about original stuff, you know, so at the minute I'm jamming, I'm improvising. I played a couple of tracks from a band, might play a couple more actually. So there's that. But other than that, you know, I'm just having the time of my life, just making it up as I go. Oh, hi Joes, how you doing? So again, if you like what's going on here, please do subscribe to the channel and smash the like button. Can we hear? So I haven't got any Freakstar backing tracks, but it's certainly there if anybody wants to. It's all the stuff's up on SoundCloud, so it's kind of there. Right, I'm feeling like another track. British Kurt Cobain. Good jam that, chilling me out. All right. Nice talent. I wish I knew how to play. Thanks, Savina, Gabby. Sorry if I get anybody's name wrong. I have dyslexia. All right, so this is like the thing. I'm like can be really word blind and get things mixed up. Sora, drop, very very good. Let's go. There's Sam. Genial. Oh, I like that. Sora, drop. Too bad I have to go back to work. I'll give you a like. You deserve it. See you. All right, bye for now. Do you have any right? So this is Sapphire 11. Do you have any tips since I want to learn guitar? I really want to start from an electric, but man, people are telling me to start with classical or acoustic. What should I do? Look, if you want to play electric guitar, just play electric guitar. But I think the one thing you should do is definitely look for a good teacher who is experienced at teaching beginners. That would be my massive advice, because when you're first starting out playing guitar, really having the foundations of technique and some theory is really, really important. Okay, so I really suggest that. And I think learn to play sort of, rock school grades, so you can do like a little exam and things like that are quite good to start off with, because it gives you certain milestones to work towards. So you kind of go down that route. But getting a teacher is really important, because like technique's everything. It's your whole mobility about the fretboard and what have you. So, whether you're going to shred or whether you're just going to, do Nirvana songs, then you've got the right technique there to do it. You look like Joe Elliott. Oh, there you go. People love coming on here and saying, you look like Kurt Cobain, you look like Joe Elliott. It's like funny, isn't it? But if that's giving you some enjoyment and some feedback from, coming on lives and saying people look like such and such, then fair enough. American Badass, who do you look like? I want to know. American Badass, what would American Badass look like? Do you look like Sylvester Stallone? Rambo. Oh, right. From the current modern guitar virtuosos, do you like Alex Hutchins? I've started actually watching some of his YouTube stuff, and he is very, very good. So I do like his stuff. Jack Gardner's excellent, really good. Mancuso is just like another level of like amazingness. So definitely Jack Gardner, and I definitely get a lot of ideas and inspiration from Jack, like for sure. I do like that style of like fusion playing that he has. It's very sort of in the key, but adding some chromaticism and things. It's very similar to what I'm wanting to do, Oh, you're a biker, right? Okay then, cool. I can't think of any right. Oh, sorry. So you're just general purpose badass looking then. There we go. Oh, here we go. Hello from David Hogan. Hello from Tipperary in Ireland. Hi, how are you doing? And Clem's on here. Hi, Clem Clemison. How's it going? Were you on this morning? German Kurt Cobain on fire. I keep forgetting. Like this is my second stream today. I'm absolutely loving doing these quick streams just on. Well, I was actually using my phone, but now I'm using my DJI camera, which I absolutely love to death. So it's got the face tracking on. I think the movement's a good thing. How's it? It's keeping me. I've got it tracking my face, I can get it to track my hand. There. Let's do some hand tracking music. But what shall I do? It's an Osmo Pocket. It's an Osmo Pocket 3. Doesn't know what it's tracking now. There we go. 6 minutes or something there. All right. What have I got? You should try the talking in your sleep solo next. Could be a good idea, that. When I get my head round doing it. Hi, Duga, how you doing? Good to see you on here. Hello back. So yes, Enzo, it is. Let's have a look. So I am using the Osmo Pocket 3 DJI. That's the camera I'm using today. It's very good. Tracks my movements. I think it's kind of. I quite like it. I mean, how's everybody finding this camera? Does it look all right? It's not making anybody seasick. Moving about. Good advice from Enzo about Sapphire, about playing guitar. Actually, Enzo, I do a bit of that. When I'm reading a sentence, I jump ahead, which technically is kind of reading backwards. So Enzo's tip, make sure you get the guitar set up so it plays well. So that's, you know. Some D Dorian. That's Andy. All right. Let's have a look. D Dorian. D Dorian. But before I do that, I think I've got what's that McRocklin Hutch track? Hold on. Locked In, I think. Locked In's in E Dorian. Northern accent.
Locked in now.
All right, there we go. So yes, this is like headless. It's a Kiesel headless guitar. So I love Kiesels. It's my go-to. How do you pick like that? I need to know because I struggle with alternate picking and at high speeds. Right, so I can alternate pick, but my choice of weapon is economy picking. But it's what I actually do is a mixture of the two things. So I use economy and alternate picking. But economy is really good because it means you're crossing strings in one direction. If you don't want to do economy picking, any picking problems that you're actually having can be solved by working out getting the correct angles. Because if you're experiencing awkward kind of picking motion, i.e. the bouncing hand of doom, what that's telling you is that you haven't got the correct angle on your pick. And the reason an angle is really important is because what it means is your pick is getting trapped behind a string. And that's why you're getting the awkward movement, because your hand's trying to bounce over one string to get to the next string. Whereas ideally you want a smooth action. But if you watch Troy Grady's, there's a guy called Troy Grady who's done a lot of research into this, the mechanics of picking. He's on YouTube, watch his stuff. How much time ahead are you spending on those books? I haven't been on the Frank and Barley one for a bit, but I spent quite a bit of time on it. I mean, I did everything up to melodic minor, basically, because I've got no intention of going into melodic minor just yet. So I've done all of that. All the Brett Garsted stuff I've done. In fact, the legato book I'm just finishing. I'm just on to hammer-ons and pull-offs. It's great. It's like going back to the beginning. Oof. Well, I've always had long hair for a very long time. And I do remember that awkward moment of growing it out. Probably takes a year and a bit, Takes a while, you got to persevere. Once you get it to a certain length, it looks after itself. Although I think mine's got into a weird quiff at the minute. I've got quite a small. I've only got a tiny little window on my. I've only got a tiny screen to see myself, so I can't do proper hair checks at the minute. No covers, I'm afraid. But it's wonderful to have you on here. Can you play any Megadeth? I could, but I can't because I don't want the copyright strike, Jonah. So it's all original music. Any chapters from Produce Your Tosin books? I can scan them now if you want. All right, yeah. I never knew Tosin had any books. Thank you, Jonah. That's lovely. I'm glad you think I'm cool. I mean, that's very kind. I have longer hair than that, but I have high maintenance. Would not recommend you get long hair if it's naturally very greasy and not. Having said that, I mean, like, so I get, right, well, let's talk about hair, right? Because, like, you know, there's guitars and then there's hair, isn't there? And I think hair is very important. So I'll put that down for now because that's a distraction. We can fully focus in on hair. Right. So I've got, like, highlights in my hair. And I think, like, when you get your hair bleached to some degree, I mean, I get, like, highlights put in with foil. And I think that kind of keeps my hair fairly dry and not too greasy. So that's one thing. The other thing I've got in my hair is I do have layers, but the trick with layers is you've got to find, if you're a boy, you've got to find a hairdresser who can kind of make choppy, sort of more masculine looking layers in your hair. So that's an important thing to look for. So it took me a while actually to find a hairdresser who could do that, but you can see there's like the layers are quite, I've just had it done today, but the layers are quite nice. But I do need some more. I'm getting some foils put in, so it'll be blonde tomorrow, more blonde tomorrow. I think it's hard to say. I think a year and a half. What bands do you produce? McRocklin Hutch is my main band, but I had a massive career as a dance producer. So you can find all my stuff on Beatport. Actually, it's called The Rain. But there's my band McRocklin Hutch. So I've produced a lot of music. I mean, my dance music, like I had well over, I always say it's 122 tracks because I actually lost count. It's 122 tracks, but it'll be more now. All signed to different labels, and I charted 7 times. And then McRocklin Hutch is like, that's gone fabulously well, you know, because playing with Thomas is like, he's an amazing guitarist and everything, and sort of making that music was a blast. And again, very successful. It's been on some great playlists. It's got a good following on Spotify. You know, so I can't complain. Just, you've got to keep going, Jonah. Just like, it's gonna, like, you're gonna have awkward bits sticking out and stuff like that, but don't worry about it. Just get it growing, and then it'll look after itself. I'll check that out, Sapphire. Oh, French. Helen. Hello. My fringe is longer than the sides, so I don't know how I'll deal with the length difference. But I think your hair is so cool. Just grow it and then get it. Like, there's no fringe. Like, oh God. Well, actually, this isn't a fringe, but I've got it. That's part of my layers. It's like specially designed to go like that. All right, translate, please. Yes, please translate. Right, no, I'm not ignoring your sub la mixi. Are you? No, I am not ignoring your message. Right, let's have a look at your message. Beg your pardon. What it was is I was trying to figure out actually how to pronounce your name. As I've said before, that so there you are saying hi, Enzo. Oh, where am I from? I'm from all right. So I'm from Newcastle upon Tyne. Sorry, that's a massive close-up on my head, everybody. Newcastle upon Tyne, which is the northeast of England. All right, Jonah, everybody just have a go at translating. That's cool. All right. So there you go. Yes, it is. And so it's the same. I'm not like I live in Newcastle, but actually I'm from Sunderland. And Sunderland and Newcastle don't get on. Non-alcoholic, Jimmy. Okay, the shirt, the hair, and everything. You look like a reincarnation of Kurt Cobain. Fair enough. I'll take that. I mean, it is a bit grungy, this shirt, but honestly, I had to put something on. I was just wanting to wear my t-shirt, what I had on today, but you know, I've got yeah. And then I didn't want to wear any of my outrageous like wacky tops because I've like used them loads. I was going to wear my Spice Girls. I might wear that tomorrow. I might wear my Spice Girls in Cat's top, which is very cool. Right, so somebody asked for some music that was in D Dorian. But I need to find something decent in D Dorian. So I think this guy, D Dorian. No, wait a minute.
If you're a business that handles...
Oh, quiet. Why have I got... Hold on, why have I got adverts on here? Right. So we've got a few things here. Maybe not that. ID Dorian. Right. Let's sort that out. Bear with me. I'm sure it's here. Right. That's the guy, D Dorian. It's coming up, D Dorian. Let's try this one. Alright, this'll do. Dear, starting to forget what key I'm in. Right, so I reckon that's enough for me for today's 2 live streams. I've been very, very busy. So I'll be up tomorrow morning, and I'm probably going to be coming on here and doing my morning practice session on guitar. So feel free to join me tomorrow morning. I'm not entirely sure what time it will be. How's the wife? The wife is doing okay. Hopefully she's hoping to have the operation Sunday, and then the road to recovery can then start. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you, Troll. Thank you, everybody. And remember, do give me some likes, and do please subscribe to this channel and get the notifications. There's going to be lots of streams over the next however long, because I'm really, really enjoying it. And it's keeping me sane in these difficult times with the missus being in hospital. It's just great coming on here and just jamming and having lots of wonderful people to talk to who support me. I can't thank you enough. It's humbling, it really is. So that's enough from me. I'll see you tomorrow morning. All right then. But I need to work out how I switch this off. The button's somewhere, isn't it? Let's have a look. There we go. All right. Bye, everybody.